Hi everyone, welcome to Naari. Mitali. I can see Mitali's request.
Hi.
Hi, I can hear you again, but I can't see you.
Yeah, I don't
Can
know
you
what
see
is the
me?
reason. No, I can just see myself. I don't know if others can see us or me at least. I don't know.
Even I can see myself. I didn't know Instagram had this feature, or maybe it'll just show up in a while with both of us because I can hear you clearly. For those of you here, can
Hi.
you see both of us? Saugat?
Or can you see one of us?
Or do you see one of us? Because we are each seeing only ourselves.
Yeah. Shall we
Let's see.
just saying go ahead? Okay.
Go ahead. It sounds
Well,
good. Sounds good. We
as
can
long as
anyway hear each other.
yeah, that's fine. I'll just imagine
They can
you,
see
Preeta.
us. Okay, they can see both of us. Yeah, I'll
Oh,
imagine
they can
you.
see both of
I
us.
have your
Okay.
picture right
All right.
here anyway, and I love your hair color. Oh my God.
Thank you.
That's like goal setting for me now.
Oh,
So everybody,
nice.
good to have you here today. We have quite a bit. We have Nidhi. We have so many of them. Okay, this is to introduce to you Mitali Srivastava Hough, and she's head of strategic planning for the advertising company McCann Mumbai with a career spanning 24 years. Mitali holds the distinction of being the first planner in Indian advertising to co-found two successful ad agencies, Utopia and Equal, which specializes in CSR solutions for startups and MSME brands. Mitali is an expert in skincare, beauty, real estate, and luxury marketing, and she has a huge list of awards like Effie's and Atticus under her fold. She's a regular jury member of various award shows for advertising and marketing. First of all, Mitali, thank you for being here with us and wishing you a very, very happy Women's Day.
Thank you. And a happy Women's Day to you also. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Mitali, so you have launched brands like Volkswagen, Neutrogena, Nivea, and it's been fantastic. You're not new to branding. So tell us more about brand Mitali. Who is the woman behind all these brands?
Well, I'm not the only person behind any of these brands. I do play a minor role, which is as a planner, I think strategy, I think why this brand or how this brand can connect with its target audience. So, for any brand, for any company, the success is not dependent on one person. It's a collective team of creative people, of marketing heads, of even like the junior most people. Everybody is part of a success of a brand. And yeah, so what is a brand is an interesting question. If I had to simply put it, if you have a product and you go into the market, let's say everything is at parity in the market for your consumer. So your quality is there, you've got other competition. How will a consumer pick up your product and not your competitions? That happens because of a brand equity, what we call, which is um, why this brand speaks the way it does. Imagine it as a human being. There are like billions of us, but all of us are unique, right? So what makes you you? I mean, you're not like any other woman. I am not like any other woman. So there are people who like me, there are people who like you, there are people who dislike me, there are people who dislike you. It's the same with brands. Why would a consumer prefer you over any other brand? It all comes down to what the brand's personality or its human face is like, which is conversation, communication, user interface, and this is all beyond what the quality of your product is. So that's where branding comes, and that is why it's so important to invest in it.
Very true. Amazing. So apart from strategic planning, you're also a trainer and researcher. So from being a leader, I mean, you are also building the next set of leaders. You're building a team continuously. What is the kind of process that you follow? What's the culture that you maintain? And what's the leadership style that you maintain with your team? Because it's a creative team at the end of the day.
I didn't really pursue being a trainer from the beginning. It's just something over the years I have picked up, because for most organizations, most teams, the problems are sort of the same, whether it's team building, whether it's a leadership role, or it's, let's say, for a brand, um, how to make their teams understand the role of various different specializations. For example, not every marketing person truly understands what branding is all about, or maybe a salesperson or a finance person or a product developer might not understand how you could go out and market things, whether you're creating a disruption in the category, whether you're already a leader and you have to protect your position. So there are different kinds of trainings. I do mostly brand related training, to find a solution for different types of products or brands at the different life stage, whether it's a startup or whether it's a brand that needs revitalization, or a leadership brand that wants to disrupt. So that's the kind of training I do. So that's just a skill set I have picked up over the years. um, but yeah, I mean, you know I try and solve marketing related problems, and I try and train people on how to find solutions, because every organization is different, every brand is different. And so what is their ethos,
That's
what is
amazing.
their culture like, and how do they approach? Yeah.
That's amazing. But you
So
started your
that's kind
career
of,
in
yeah.
journalism, interestingly, as a reporter and a correspondent for 7 years, I think, and then you moved on to advertising, and you
Yeah.
excelled at transforming brands. It's a huge shift. I mean, it's might seem like media, but they're two completely different fields. So what drove you to make the shift?
So, this is a question a lot of people have asked me. And yes, you're right. On the surface, they do look like two different industries. But for me, as a person, when I was very, very young, I was in school, I wanted to be a journalist who wanted to speak the truth, change the world, make an impact, help people, all of those things. And after 7 years in journalism, I think I realized that I am not able to tell the truth. Because the industry is, dependent on a lot of other things, a lot of, it's very difficult to sustain yourself, or to do well, or to maybe reach somewhere, or, tell the truth without antagonizing someone. So I realized that if I'm not allowed to tell the truth, then let me see where else I can tell the truth. And advertising seemed like a great option, because when we create advertising, when we talk about brands, that's also telling truth. What role is this product or a brand playing in my life? What problem is this brand solving in a consumer's life? All of these for me were truth as well. So in my head, even though the platform has changed, instead of coming on TV or writing in a newspaper, I am doing the same work via ads. But for me, the driver is the same. So I don't really see too much of a shift. This is who I was 25 years ago or 30 years ago. This is who I am. And I'll keep doing the same thing forever, as long as I can.
Yeah. Oh my God. And how are you at work? Like, what is the kind of person you are at work? Like, your style of working?
I think my style of working is very hands-on. So even though I technically head strategy in a multinational, I am very willing to roll up my sleeves and go down and do the research or put that presentation together or interact with like different team members. So I think because I like what I do. So my style of work is very democratic. Like I like to work along with my team members. If there is a pitch or if there is work, I will sit with them or I'm working the whole night with them. It's not like I will just delegate and then, I will wait for people to do the job. And then, so I believe in being part of the whole team and not believe that, oh, I sit on a leadership position. So, it's other people's job. So I take that accountability and I try and, um, tell people to have the same approach with their juniors. So that's how I operate.
And who is Mitali off work?
Mitali off work is the same. There is not much difference. I really believe that you cannot fake your personality, whether it's your work or it's a personal life. So for me, I talk straight and I do it at work, outside work, wherever, and I follow what I like doing, whether it's in my personal space or professional. So that's who I am.
Nice. Tell us more about your family, Mitali. Who do you go home to?
Well, I go home to a husband and 3 cats. I married an English guy who has been here for over for over a decade. He's been there. So it's a small happy family.
That's a sweet family. And how do you balance work and home and work and life? The quintessential question for women or for any person actually in a position that you are in.
See, again, like I said, for me, my life is not divided in a professional or personal way. For me, it's one life. Every time I hear people talk about a balance, for me, the balance, I don't feel the need of a balance that people mean in their head, like in the sense that I need to feel happy and I need to feel inspired every day in the morning, whether I'm at work or I'm at home. I need to enjoy what I'm doing, whether at home, whether I'm, at work. So for me, that is a balance. Now, when people talk about, am I spending time with my family members? I do, but I believe in quality time and not quantity time. So for me, when me and my husband, when we spend time together, we focus on each other. And, then there are hours or days when the world is cut off from us, So for me, that's how in my head the balance happens, It's not like I have to come home every day and spend like 2 hours with my husband. That's not how I see
and
it.
separate out.
If I spend
I'm
even
sure you
10
can't
minutes with him, it needs to be,
Yeah. Because I guess if I'm not wrong, you don't have work timings typically in the field that you are.
No, we don't. It's a demanding job. And I think it's important to have a partner who understands that. My husband's job is also very demanding. So, we both understand the complication of working in an industry where time is not divided in, from point A to point B.
Yeah.
So, I think I've
and
been
how do you deal with
that. Yeah.
So if you're going through like a particularly bad day or a stressful day, how do you deal with it?
Well, I have my own little moments of joy that I dip into whenever it's required, whether it's music or talking to a friend or even just try and connect with, the almighty in my head or, I'll go meet my friends, whatever. It's for me, a bad day happens often and a good day happens often. So neither of them really, take me right up or take me right down. I sort of try to maintain like a balanced space in my head. That's how I approach it.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Oh, it's very eclectic. So from Sufi to hard rock, you name it, and I listen to that. Yeah.
Nice. And do you get to travel often?
Yeah, I do travel a lot, and even personally, because my husband's family is in UK, so we end up traveling to Europe a lot just to see the family. The work also requires travel, so yeah, there's a lot of travel.
Very nice. So now coming to being a woman leader that you are, do you see the difference? I mean, you've worked from quite some time, 24, 25 years now. Have
Yeah,
you been
yeah.
able to see any difference between women in leadership roles when you started out versus now, or has it been the same for you?
Um, there has been a little bit of shift, I think. I still think that a lot of problems are still the same because whether it's equal payment or it's having a voice at the top level, the representation is still very very poor. I mean, there are times when in the whole meeting I'm the only woman around, uh, which is sad.
Oh,
But what is nice? Yeah, and I think 24 years ago, when I was a cub a writer or a journalist, I used to see the same thing at that time. There were like hardly any women on top. So yeah, it's not changed on the fundamentals. It's the problems still exist, but the shift or the positive shift is that more women are speaking out today. There is we have a stronger voice now. That's also a positive movement because I think 24 years ago we didn't even have a voice. So yeah, there is a shift,
yes.
not
That's
that great a shift. I think it will take us a very very long time to have equality between both genders. But I think if we keep at it, like the way you guys are, let's say, trying to talk to women and all, most organizations are also doing something or the other. I think if we collectively keep
true.
doing this, change will come sooner or later.
True. Though we have seen the barriers kind of like become very shaky now. So today it's not, the distinction is not so much. But yes, I do get it. I mean,
Well,
it has starkly
I
changed from
in
before to now.
yeah. So I think earlier, 24 years ago, or maybe 25 years ago, the boundary lines around us were vocal and very well defined. And people used to actually say things like, don't wear this, don't talk like that, don't do this. Today what has happened is that the boundary lines are still there, but they're invisible. So it's connoted, it's a subtle hint, like it's a
Oh,
conditioning that is there. So people don't really directly tell you,
yes.
hey, you're not wearing appropriate clothes. But you know that there is judgment happening. So, earlier I remember going for meetings, and because I've always had colored hair, and that's just one small example I'm giving you. My bosses have told me, why do you color your hair like that? Because, you come across as a, very aggressive person, or you come across as a rebel. And, that's not good for business. If you look like a rebel, then people are going to be scared of you. And they used to tell me that, on my face, and I didn't listen to them. And yeah, I was a rebel, I guess. Today, nobody directly says it to me on my face, but I won't be surprised if a lot of people still see me like that. So the boundary wall is there. It's invisible right now, but it will take time for it to go away completely.
That's a very interesting perspective. And I was just sitting and talking to somebody, I think a couple of months ago, that, we fight for our rights and stuff like that. But then our innate conditioning is so strong because we've been
Yeah,
brought up at a time when,
yeah.
you didn't dress a certain way, or, you looked, you behaved a certain way at home or with relatives or with friends. You played down your achievements. And
Right.
today it becomes, today when someone does it, and someone's different, it can still shock even us, even though we fought against it all our lives.
Yeah, very true. Very true. And the support system is I am realizing more women supporting each other today than it was the case earlier. So, someone who
Yeah.
herself is not able to break the boundaries at least supports the idea that some of us are doing it. And I think that's a huge shift in itself as well. So let's hope it continues.
I hope so. I hope it really improves from here on. At the workplace in a creative space, there has been a thought about women at the creative space that, easy hai, सबके साथ मतलब very comfortable रहते हैं, and we know that also that in a creative space the boundaries between women and men, you don't have corporate rules the way you do in maybe an IT company where your
Right.
harassment rules are so you can't even call someone like hey dear or hey sweetie, you can't do that, whereas in a creative space we are a little more relaxed about such things, but at the same time protecting women
Yeah.
even there is so important. So
Yeah.
what do you do for that? Because I think today you're in a position to do something about it and to have that culture in your company. What do you do? What do you suggest for it?
Well, I keep telling everybody to speak up. And if they're not able to speak up, I tell them to speak to their seniors, especially women. But again, I mean, what I have done is like in previously, like with my own agency, I shut down or I resigned from my own company because of a incident like this. Now, as a leader, my accountability becomes very, very high, and uh, there should be zero tolerance. The problem is that very often, and this is not just about men, it's also about women, we look the other way because, it's not our problem, it's not happened to us. Or, maybe we look the other way because the person who is, let's say, harassing someone is a friend of ours, and therefore our equation with him or her is great, and therefore, I'm not going to believe that this person is capable of doing something. So we respond basis our convenience, our own, myopic vision. Now, as a leader, I think it's very, very important that if there is a complaint, the person should be heard, and there should be investigation, and there should be an appropriate action, whether it is a legal action or a moral action, but there has to be an action. And the person who has been traumatized must be protected no matter what. So that's all. If the leaders started showing empathy towards this, or started approaching situations like this instead of shushing it down or trying to discourage people. And again, like I said, it's an invisible boundary, right? So openly everybody will come out and support and say, hey, great work, hey, we support zero tolerance, and all of that stuff. But the fact is that they want such women to go away. They don't want to hire such women if they have a history of, let's say, whether taking a stand or speaking up. So men, especially in power, who judge women for this, even though they don't openly say it, well, women can read and women can pick it up, and
That's very
we
true. Like
we
you
should
said,
be
it's
wary of
invisible
these
right
men.
now.
Exactly.
And
So, like I said,
that's
openly
a scary
people show
point, but
support.
it's true.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that conditioning is there, so it needs to come from within. Men who support openly, but at the back of their mind, if you're judging women because of their clothing, because of their hair, or because she's spoken up, you need to introspect and think that there is actually something wrong in your thinking. Just because you're not openly supporting bad behavior doesn't mean that you're openly supporting the right behavior either. And I think people who stay quiet are as complicit as the person who is, let's say, harassing people, because
Guilty.
because of the silence that society has or corporates have, uh, people get away with a lot of stuff, and that should not happen. So silence for me is complicit behavior. And no matter what you say in public or in a party and say, hey, I'm about women equality and all of that, if you're not openly supporting and taking an action, then you're part of the problem as well. So that's how I see it.
And who influences you? Like, who do you consider your mentor, someone you look up to, who has shaped who you are?
I think my father played a huge role in shaping how I am, and I think that's one of the best examples of how a man should be. Where, while I was growing up, he was very clear that my daughter needs to study. My daughter, needs to be financially independent. And he never put emphasis on the fact that I need to learn how to cook and I need to, learn how to do basic chores. He was very clear. If you like cooking, you cook. If you don't like it, go do work, whatever. So I think that's how my conditioning has been different, thanks to my father, thanks to my mother, thanks to my aunts, uncles. My own family has played a massive role in who I am or how I think. I think it all starts with that. It all starts with that.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think that support at home is something which a lot of people don't have, surprisingly, even in
Yes,
the urban space. Where
yes,
it's so
true.
subtly told to them that if at any point you have to give up, it's going to be you versus the husband. So, uh,
Right.
so women who want to move up the corporate ladder but are bound by responsibility, what do you have to say for them? Because today you still do have a lot of even upper middle class women who refuse a promotion or refuse a hike because their husbands aren't, you know, it might take them away from their husbands. It might put in the extra time
Right.
or the money. They don't want to earn more than their husband does. It's still an issue even today.
Yeah.
How would you
Well,
guide? I mean, what do you have to say about
there
it?
is no, I mean, like, I don't think there is a template for this, but I think people need to feel happy with what they're doing. What I see very often being the problem is that women who quit job because of motherhood, for instance, that they're not able to make peace with it. There's nothing wrong about
Yeah,
not working. There's nothing wrong about saying, you know what, I've got a child, I'm going to take a break for 4 years. Problem is that these women start resenting. I always believe that one should always do what your heart says, and you need to make peace with it. You need to make peace with yourself, with your decisions, and be happy about it. So first thing is to figure out your own self. If giving up 4 years or 5 years of your career life because of motherhood is not something that's bringing you joy, then you find out a solution. Have a nanny, have a support system where you can have a child, but you're not obsessed with like spending 24 hours with your child. Then you make that sacrifice or make that decision and make it with confidence. Because, people who judge women for being a mother and still working, well, don't listen to them, because everybody is going to have some point of view and nobody is ever going to be happy with you. It's better that you follow how you see things and what works for you. And there is no absolute right or wrong. It's okay to work at home, while having a child. It is okay to not work. It's okay to go and work outside. I mean, all of it are right choices. What is important is for us to make our own choices, without worrying
peace.
about how other people are going to judge us.
True. And if you had to look back at your career and say that, I did this one thing that made me, I mean, I know there are so many moments that would make you proud, but there is this one thing where I felt like, yes, I've done it. What is your personal story of achievement?
A personal story of achievement, I think, is um, I think I always wanted to be a writer at some level. And I think one of the reason why I started my career as a journalist was also because I write and I express myself through writing. I did that as a child when I used to write poems. There has been like a trajectory of what I write. Whether it's news or whether it's poetry or it's songs, and even in advertising, when we craft stories around a brand, that's also storytelling and writing. So I think what happened was over the years, it all sort of became very commercial and very driven by an agenda. And I missed
Yeah.
writing for the pure joy of writing. And recently, I got an opportunity to work with A.R. Rahman. Rahman sir, for some reason, liked the way I write. So he's given me an opportunity to write for an AI project that he's doing. And when he was
That's
talking to me, his
amazing.
brief was,
That's
there
amazing.
is no agenda. No, he said, there is no agenda. You write what you want to write about. And I think that's my personal achievement, where there is no agenda. I had the freedom to write how I saw life. So yeah, that's, I think I would say after 24 years is something I'm really proud of and happy about.
Wow, wow, that's beautiful. That's so heart-touching. That's really, really beautiful. And I can see, Mitali, you are very, very passionate about your work, about what you do, and excelling at it. And I'm really proud to have someone like you here today because it's very important for all of us to realize that we don't just get up, go to work, and come back. We need to excel at it. We need to make our life worth remembering. To the work, to the
Yeah.
contribution that we do. And I can see you doing that through what you do. And I think that's amazing. Is there something that you want to leave us with as your words of wisdom?
Well, I am not very wise because I'm a person who operates with my heart. So the only thing I would say is that you will excel in whatever you do, whether you're a housewife, whether you're a CEO, whether you're an intern, or anyone, right? If you do it with your heart and you do it because it brings you joy, achievements and success will come on their own. And not every achievement is about money. So I think for me, that's been the only thing that has driven me. The day I lose my joy in doing something, I exit from that space. So that's the only thing. I mean, I don't have anything wise to say, just that follow your heart and the world will follow you.
That's lovely. That's lovely. And that's beautiful. That's something really beautiful you've left us behind with. Thank you, Mitali. Thank you so much. Once again, we are very,
Thank you,
very
Prita.
proud of you. And we're waiting to see your work, which you've written. Please do send it out once you're done with it. And we're just waiting to see it. And very excited about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Prita, and thank you, Chogat, for
Thank you.
remembering
Thank you
me.
very
I was
much.
very
See
touched.
you.
So, all right,
All right.
bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this
Bye.
live. See you all soon. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.